All right, cool. So, hey, everybody, my name's Alan Thomas with Rethink Dieting, and today I have with us Captain Bob Ward, who is going to share with you guys some of his Rethink Dieting Transformation Story. Little background on Bob and I. He started the program back in, Bob, wasn't it May last year?
April, end of April.
End of April. So just a little over a year. And the actual pictures of a difference. In fact, I hadn't planned to do this, but what the heck? We'll use all the technology today, Bob. Give me 1 second.
I'm convinced I was very close to 300 pounds in that picture.
And you might have been. Let's see. This you shared that picture with me. And we were just talking before the call that on the picture of you, your before picture, you were at the mile zero. My wife told us was in there, and she corrected me and saying it was the end of the road, but I think it was the end, or maybe it was the beginning. Who knows, right?
The end of the road for me.
I love it. I love it. So I know I've told a little bit about you, but introduce yourself to everybody so that they know who you are, and give them a little perspective on it, and then we'll kind of jump in and answer some questions. And by the way, anybody who's in chat, we cannot see your name on the stream. So if you want us to know who you are, you need to put that in chat. We will be able to see messages, but cannot see the names of those that are commenting. So, but Bob, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, and then we'll dive in.
I'm a 57-year-old widower. My wife passed a year and a half ago from cancer, which was its own stressful journey, but it was a blessed journey, and I know where she is, and that's all good. 3 kids, 30, 26, and 21. I'm an airline pilot. I travel all over the place and developed very, very bad personal care and eating habits, and I travel the world to eat. It's no secret. You ask me a restaurant in most major cities in the world, I'll give you 5. So that's what I became and still am known for. But it was taking a personal toll on me. Been struggling with my weight my whole life. And my wife's passing woke up a few, realizations that the road ahead is shorter than the road behind, whatever, cute colloquialism you want to use there. And woke up one day and God put Alan Thomas's website in front of me. I don't really know how you popped up on my computer screen.
Me neither.
But long story short, I clicked the link, got a phone call back, did the interview, and here we are.
Yeah. So no, and it's interesting, when you look back, it feels like a lifetime ago now after, all that you've done, all you've accomplished over the year, because you're down, roughly 80 something pounds since we met, and really, changed a lot of things. But, walk everybody, because I think so many people, we get so hung up on the diet and the exercise, got to find the magic diet and all. And while certainly you have to change the way you eat, you got to change the way you exercise. All those things are really important. But walk everybody who's listening, through kind of where you were before you got in the program, and really, what your mindset was about this whole process, and what it was impacting.
I was living a life I'd always lived, traveling the world, and now traveling with my kids now that I was a widower, and hence that was a spring break. I took 2 of my 3 kids to Key West on separate spring break trips, and my weight was always in the back of my mind. It was always, I'll get to it. Like how many jobs do us men have around the house that our spouses, don't nag me every 6 months, I'll get to it. The weight was just one of those things that I'll get to it. I thankfully, other than having pre-diabetes, A1C blood levels, that was the only ticking time bomb. My cardio was decent. I was fairly healthy, other than being 100 pounds overweight.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was just, living life and loving life. My life was on autopilot. Um, and then you came into my life, and the thing that you woke up in me is you were the first person, and you and I were strangers. You were
Mm-hmm.
the first person who spoke truth to me. You were the first person, not my doctors, not my friends, not my family, who used the term morbidly obese, and that scared the. Well, it was a family show, so that scared
Yeah.
the hell out of me. Um,
Yeah.
and honestly, I was offended at first. I was angry. And looking back, I very quickly went through the 6 stages of grieving. The denial, the anger, the resignation, and the holy mackerel. What am I going to do about this now? Because he's right. And so you spoke the truth to me. And then after I started your program, then the bug got in my ear. What other truths in my life have I been ignoring? And
Mm-hmm.
so I've had a counselor. My wife and I were in counseling, and I've kept the counselor afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Yeah, you've got to the point in your life where you're ready to address that. What are the truths are you been ignoring?" And so
Mm-hmm.
we've been the last 15 months in counseling, been peeling that onion back layer by layer. But just big picture, the way your advice, your coaching was honest, true, and spot on, even though it was hard to hear sometimes. And I'm just, go to the end and come back, but it's fun now, having the weight
Mm-hmm.
off and figuring out, and everyone has a different process and everyone has different things that work for them. But once you figure out what works for you, it's fun. It really is, because I'm not scared to go in restaurants. I'm not scared to, you know, whatever. It's fun.
Yeah, I remember what one of the first interactions that you and I had, and you said, "Well, gosh, I guess it means that I don't get to go into my favorite Mexican restaurant anymore." And I'm like, "Wait a minute." We were about to get off the phone. I said, "Wait a minute. No, that's not who you are." I said, "So this is, because so much of this is we think there's this bad food and this good food. Are there foods that are more beneficial? 100%. If there exercise is more beneficial? 100%. There's no taking away from that. But this brain that we carry around with us, how would the Bob walking in at 198 pounds instead of 280, how does he go into that restaurant? And so you went in, I believe you went in that restaurant that day. I don't recall, honestly. But I was like, no, we got to figure out how to tackle this monster now, because there's no reason. In fact, my wife and some of our favorite restaurants throughout now, it doesn't mean we get to eat 14 baskets of the chips and salsa and queso like I used to do. But speak to people about kind of the journey, that you went on from shifting the way you thought about this whole thing, this whole dieting thing, and how, and then, some of the things that transpired, because you alluded to it. I believe really this, for me personally, just because I'm just like I told you, I'm just like you. I was just on the other side. Now you're on it
Right.
with me. And so it's just a wall we were facing. And when I realized, and you realize now, the impact it has in every area, it's like the foundation of the house. And I'm not talking about just health here. Health is important, but I'm talking about everything. Speak to some of that that's transpired over the last year, because I think that's really important.
The mental and emotional confidence, and what that allows you to do, I can describe it, but until you're there, and it's different for everybody. I've talked to other
Mm-hmm.
people who've lost significant amounts of weight. It's different. It's different for everybody. But what the freedom it gives you, the things you can do that I probably shouldn't do that. Whether it's a physical thing, for me, it was the emotional leap of going out and dating again, and the confidence to do that, and not doing it as, well, why would someone want to go out with someone as big as me, or this, that, so
Mm-hmm.
the areas of my life that has touched, that new confidence, that, hey, if I've tackled this weight, what else can I tackle?
Mm-hmm.
um, you know like I said, with the counselor, I'm peeling back the onions with
Hmm.
emotional and mental things.
Hmm.
But I mean, my lady friend and I, we go bike 10 miles all the time, or we'll go walk 4 miles every morning that we're together.
Hmm.
You know, it unlocks so many areas of your life that I think most of us, Alan, didn't know that we were compensating emotionally,
Hmm.
mentally, and physically, whether things
Hmm.
we didn't do, places we didn't go, or activities we didn't join in. I think we don't even think about that, so we may not be aware of it.
Yeah, and and that's spot on. I mean, what you're saying there, but I think it's interesting too. Who you became in the journey too, as as you were releasing weight, losing it, releasing it, whatever, however you want to say it. But I choose to think of it as a destination, and it's funny that it's no. Way before you and I met, I was
Right.
thinking, but you're the pilot. You fly the jets, the jets all over the world, but who you became in the journey and how other people have looked to you. I mean, you even had groups of other professional, because like when I think about a captain of a major airline, I mean, I'm thinking about James Bond with an airline uniform on, and that's but to some degree, we think of this leadership level, and that's. But you said, what was you? Did you tell me was the percentage of pilots that struggle with their
Seven.
weight? Just like it is across 70%.
Demographics the same.
And you started a group for I think within your own, without divulging, I'm not,
Yeah,
because we
I'm
won't talk about.
in the Facebook support group. Um, 1/3 from work, 2/3 from my personal, and
Yeah.
here's the first revelation. Not everyone's going to come with you in this journey.
Yeah.
People are threatened by change. People are threatened by a different person that you become in this process, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And I mean, Alan was the one who pushed me because I was like, no, 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 I don't need the support. I can do this. I don't need to bring other people around me. But I brought 10 people in that group, and only 2 of them still talk to me today about it. 8 of them are
Mm.
like, yeah, that's good. Good luck, Mazel Tov.
Mm.
Go do your thing. Yeah, we support you, but they're very uncomfortable. I have family members, my children. 2 of my 3 children are very uncomfortable with my physical change. One of them um, is a doctor, and one of
Mm.
them, and she most of all tells me what a quack I am, and because I take stuff like fish oil now, and and I get the "you have the most expensive urine in the planet" speech once.
Yeah.
So people will not come with you on this journey. Bring people with you. You'll find those 2 nuggets of gold. You'll find those people who will support you no matter what, especially when the times are hard. But don't expect everybody to be celebratory about your changes, your positive changes on this journey.
Yeah.
That was the most
Well,
shocking thing.
yeah. And I also think about all those pilots. I think you had a group of what, about 1,000 pilots that you were speaking truth into their life.
Right.
And what's interesting, I mean, and you can talk about that a little bit if you want to. And these are, this is completely not scripted. If nobody knows that, has figured that out yet. It's you and I talking, but I think back when you were telling me about some of those individuals because now you figured out. I mean, like when you got it, I remember it was a month or two before you realized that all the power was sitting between your elbows.
That's
All the power was you. It wasn't me. It wasn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
no, no. And you unlocked that in me. And here's what's different. And this is what I tell everybody asking: figuring it out, quote unquote, is different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was study and the intellectual side.
Mm-hmm.
I have read 18 books. Dr. Fung. I have read Dr. Hyman, he's the founder of, um, hello, what medicine program? I'll come back to it. But
Okay.
he's a nationally known doctor and author. He's written that. I read a ton of books
Mm-hmm.
about health, about nutrition. I, I at least have a bachelor's degree in microbiotic nutrition now. I truly do. Functional medicine. There we go.
There you go.
And that's what worked for me on the
Yeah.
intellectual. Other people, they don't need all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what worked for me, and that's what I tell people: figure out what motivation works for you, and
hmm
figure out, how your body reacts. Because Alan will tell you, maybe eat this, maybe eat this. So you talk about chicken protein and how beef takes 2 or 3 more days to metabolize. So you don't see the weight come off as fast, and all that's great, great, great information. But all of us are different, and all of us have
Yeah.
different. We like different stuff. So,
hmm
you know,
I know one of the fellow Rethink dieters, when he realized that he could figure out his own formula, and it was never about the diet, but I encourage people. I want people to become an expert on them, because if you can't be the expert on you, then who can?
and
I
so,
mean, real.
Alan, you are the first stepping stone, and you're the first person who I've ever, in all the 19 books I've read, no one said become an expert on you. You may want to go patent that, honestly, but
I don't think I'm the first to say it, but
you become an expert on you physically,
Mhm.
emotionally, mentally, nutritionally, in all the realms. And it all started by speaking truth. And that's why, my counselor and I are untangling the speaking the truth in my emotional life and my relationships.
Mhm.
And so that little pebble, Alan, that you tossed into the pond, has now caused a tsunami. It really has.
It's so awesome. It is so awesome to see.
But the change is all three. We're focusing on the physical. We're focusing on the
Sure.
weight and the nutrition. But once you have that power, that you gave me the power, or you
Mhm.
showed me how to unlock the power that we all have inside of us, now it's applying that power in other parts of our lives.
Yeah. Well, and I know, and I tell this to everybody. And if when in our very first call, I said, I'll never tell you what to eat. I'll never tell you what exercise to do, because that's not the issue. If that were the issue, we'd all have 32-inch waist and 6-pack abs.
Right.
And you've kind of fought that in the front end a little bit with me. I remember not
Oh, I did.
Yeah, you were like, come on now. But because I think we all want to hold on to this, there's this magical lottery diet. There's this, I do, I'm looking for it.
Right.
By the way, anybody that sees that, if you have the lottery diet, please send me, I'll pay you double for it, because it really doesn't exist. It's like, and I think about Dave Ramsey, who a lot of people may or may not be familiar with, but Dave Ramsey built a simple $250 million business on spend less than you make.
Right.
Pretty revolutionary concept. But when you figured out that you couldn't phone in, and when I say phone in, meaning you can't have somebody do the push-ups for you. Okay. No. Nobody's going to do the push-ups for you. You've got to, and I didn't make you do push-ups. This is a metaphorical reference. But when you figure out you can't phone in this piece, you can't phone in an area of your life that's this important, that's this impactful. And when you got it, it was like Katie barred the door. It was like, okay, it was funny. I would get these messages from you, and it was like, it was wild watching the process, but it's you did the work, and so it's so cool.
Works. Just figure out what works, and then it's because you're in control, and it's like anything else, especially for guys. I mean, ladies too, but I'm a control freak. My children will be the first one to tell you I'm a control freak. And when you got 289 people sitting behind you and you're going 9/10 the speed of sound, you damn well better be in control. So, I am a control freak, and I'm working on that. It's a 12-step program for that.
I agree.
But once I got control, because I was never, for 57 years out, I was never in control of what I ate and the behaviors behind that.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's cool is you figured out you were always in control.
Right.
And now you're, in fact, show everybody, if you don't mind sharing, you just came back from Zurich, Switzerland. And Bob knows the best food in every country on the planet, by the way. And tell everybody, he's sitting there and you're not touching it. Why aren't you scarfing that down?
There's $60 worth of Swiss chocolate that I'm sending to a friend. and I have another thing of chocolate I brought home for my son there. And Bob, a year ago, see ya. That's what, maybe 4,000 calories and 300
Yeah.
of sugar. Bye bye. That was easy.
Well, and the point is, but you can still have a piece of chocolate occasionally.
Oh, I had some last night. I certainly did.
Yeah, yeah. It's not about, and I think that this is so disheartening that we believe that it's about being perfect, and so it's I'll do a little preaching here so forgive me if I won't take an offering, but Jesus said all the food was good. Okay, he just said all the food was good. He didn't say to eat it all at once though, which is what I chose to do for decades.
Yeah.
And so it's not about this perfect thing, but I love the fact of all the things you've interwoven into your life that from the foundation. And I mean, anything else you want to share, just have at it. I want to be quiet and listen to you because it's fun.
Well, no, I'm just, my message would be find your truth, come to the realization. And if Alan hasn't gotten through the grieving process yet of grieving, I'm on a road to quick death. I mean, everything that goes along with obesity, and I won't bore you, but everything that goes along with that is the quick path to death, and it's the 4 of the 5 leading causes of death in North America. And once you come into that truth, you go through the grieving process, then you get angry, and you turn that anger around to, okay, let's figure this out. Because Alan, I mean, your before and after pictures are great. I am sending that before and after collage that you made. I'm sending that to everybody right now, and I'm putting it by my bed.
Yeah.
Because one of my fears, and I would like you to speak to this too, because we haven't spoken about it, is there's a small nugget in the back of my head says, what happens if I go back to my old habits and go back to, 300-pound Bob?
Well, and here's the cool part. Yeah, and this is a journey, like you said, for all of us. And I was actually being interviewed by somebody else when it hit me. Okay, now and this has been about 2 years ago. I was being interviewed by a guy, and he said, "When did it kick in? Why haven't you gained all your weight back?" I said, the day that I stopped being the 304-pound guy that lost weight and became the 175-pound guy that gained weight, it all changed. And so what I would say to you is, and I'd say to anybody who's lost weight, if you don't become the new person, see, I just don't think, and I think you have tackled it. I don't think you've taken on the personality and the being of the guy that you were created to be. And so the all those pounds coming back on doesn't match who you are. Will it ever be easy? Will you ever be able to eat anything you want? No, not unless you're going to be in the Olympics and Michael Phelps is going to be training you or something.
No.
Maybe you could eat.
Well,
yeah.
You can. I mean, I had a slice of pizza the other day. Okay, did I fast 18 hours afterwards? Sure. Did I walk an extra mile? Walk 5 miles instead of 4 the next morning? Yeah, and I'm fine.
The point I'm making, you're not that guy anymore.
No, I see what you're saying.
You cease to become that person, and that really is it. And so, a big question that, and this just hit me while we're talking, because again, I just this is me and you having a honest conversation. Looking back, was the last year worth it? Honestly,
you're kidding, right?
No, I want you to speak to that, because I think that's really the deep underlying question that I always had before I lost my weight, but that you may have had before yours. Is it worth it?
Oh my, okay. I mean, and I meant it sincerely, ladies and gentlemen. I asked him, was he kidding? Because, what amount of money wouldn't I pay to become the person I am now, mentally, physically, emotionally, with the weight, and knowing what I know and being able to eat. What I eat, when I eat, what I want to eat. And oh my gosh. I mean, it's 1 year out of 80 or 90. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What do you think and you become really you literally could probably be nutritionist at this point. You've studied it so hard and everything. I mean, but what do you think? And nobody has a crystal ball. What do you think you potentially added to your lifetime? Potentially
20 years.
20 years so people that are listening, would you trade a year for 20?
Yeah. And you know what? And there's a misnomer in that question now. We're still living during that year.
Mm-hmm.
We're retooling and reinventing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I still, went to Zurich and went here and enjoyed things, well, no COVID, but, did
Mm-hmm.
things with the kids and did all the things I normally do. I just wasn't that guy who went in, tipped my head to the waiter and all of a sudden 20 bowls of guacamole and, queso were on the table, for everybody. You still live your life during that year. You're just making an investment in changing yourself.
Yeah.
But no, Alan, I said in that epitaph I wrote you, or not epitaph, but the testimony that you saved my life, and
Wow.
you did. I'd be dead in 15 years if I'd kept going where I was going. I'd be dead at 70 easily.
Wow.
And now I'm on track. Probably mid 90s. I'll be happy.
That's awesome. And what's so cool for you is, I mean, you've uncovered so much gold in your life, so much, real gold. I mean, the real stuff, not just because you can walk 5 miles and do all the stuff and look better. And sure, you look like James Bond in your pilot uniform now and all this kind of stuff, but the point of all those things, the relationship with your, the new lady, your relationship with your kids, being able to, I mean, just it keeps on going and going. So no, I'm thrilled. It is so much fun to see happen. And it's just like the day that you got it. I mean, I can almost remember exactly. I'm like, he's got it. And it just went because it was such a shift. So good for you.
And another concept I got from one of the books and one of the many doctors, and your clients and our family here will hear this term more and more as time goes on, is health span. We've always talked about lifespan, having a lifespan of 70, 80 years. Okay, well, I want to have a health span that matches my lifespan. Okay, maybe the last 4 or 5 months, what chronic illness or disease, takes us down and takes us out at the end. But how many people in our society and our families are spending the last 10 or 15 years of their lives either in a nursing facility or with, doctor's visits every week for this ache and pain and this ache and pain and this condition and that condition. And just 70% of those chronic conditions can be managed through diet and exercise.
Isn't that, and it's
life-ending conditions. People who are in a nursing home at age 70, age 80, a lot of those conditions, they don't need 12 medications. We know family members and friends who their medicine cabinet, their pill thing is 15 pills, for this condition and that condition. We manage illness. We don't manage health. And so big goal for me on the other side now is make my health span match my lifespan. And so that's a whole nother.
Oh yeah, no, and you're spot on, as I said, on all of it, because it is a big deal. When you see when you're not having to stare at the inside of a doctor's office every day.
Right.
I mean, and you're out living, and you're the guy, the 80-year-old guy that we all talk about. That's like, oh my gosh, he's that guy. And Bob's a long way from 80, but when you reach 80 or you're 85, and you're not sitting there, in front of the Gunsmoke episodes because you can't get up out of the chair, and you're really living, and you're living like you did when you were maybe in your 20s. Just with more wisdom and knowledge, and maybe hopefully some no craziness like you might have had when you're 20.
My mother is 84, and she has embraced everything I've done in the last year and has folded a lot of my practices. She and I have hiked San Francisco twice in the last 6 months. We hiked Muir Woods. We hiked Kilauea in Hawaii.
This is your 84-year-old mom.
84 years old. 84 years
Love
old.
it.
And we're hiking everywhere now. she dropped, she dropped some weight, and my stepbrothers and stepsisters are all like, "Wait, you're gonna kill her." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, but at least she'll have fun doing it, you know." What if she slips and breaks an ankle? Okay, well, she's not going to, because she's much stronger. Her ankles and legs and musculature is much stronger because she's out
So,
of for walking 4 months.
so let me get this straight. So your mom lost weight while you were losing weight? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a clue?
She came alongside of me once she saw the weight come off. She said, "What do you take?"
Huh.
And supplements, and all that. So yeah.
So she came along when you shifted everything. Now, isn't that interesting? And isn't that a clue?
So she goes
It,
with me on my trips, and like I said, we go hiking everywhere now.
your 84-year-old mom.
Yeah.
And what do you think she added to it? Now, see, I didn't know this. This is news to me. So what do you think? What do you think mom's quality of life is now compared?
She's got. I mean, she'll make it to 90, no problem.
Wow.
She'll make. She and I do crosswords together now, and so she's working on things young, through all aspects of her life, and it's just great. It's great to see. Does she have aches and pains? Yeah, she's getting a new
Sure.
hip. She's getting a new hip next month.
She's got to walk. What do you have her walking? Where's she going to go next? She going to do Everest?
Oh, who knows? I want to take her to Italy, but Italy's not open yet. But so yeah. So Alan, you've had a profound effect on my life.
Wow, that's so awesome. I had no idea about that.
Like I said, I've always called your work in ministry, and like in
Thank
any
you.
ministry, you don't know the lives you touch. You have no idea that ripple effect.
Wow.
So
Wow. Well, so honored to work with you. So cool to see it happen. Tell mom, game on. Cheer her on for us. That is awesome. And guys, for any of you guys watching, the way that you can get information on me, you can go to rethinkdieting.com. We work with Rethink Dieting. We actually work with men and women now. You're going to see a lot in there about men, but we added ladies to the process too. I share my 5-step strategy that I use to personally lose 129 pounds in 260 days. The strategy I walked Captain Bob through. And so, guys, check that out and schedule a free breakthrough session if you want to have an honest conversation at transformmyfuture.com/apply. And Bob, thank you so much. This is so much fun to see this. I'm having way more fun at this than you are. I can promise you.
But thank you for saving my life, and I look forward to our future together.
Me too. Great job. Great being with you, Bob, and we will talk to you soon. Love it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.